Okay, once you have your little zigzag things, you can take a piece of tape. I don't suggest glue because it doesn't, when it dries, it glues everything together and you want it to be able to pop up. So you'll take a piece of tape and attach it to each part of your little pop-up zigzag paper. I don't know what they're called. I call them zigzags. And then you will place them under your levels of your map. And you can usually get away with doing 2 on the bigger ones and then 1 small one on those. As we are constructing our little and Dollar Tree is really good about their tape. It works really good. So I'm a Dollar Tree fanatic. Yay, look at that.
You're sticking up?
Yes.
Awesome.
I think my heel has an issue. It's one side's higher than the other. And I usually walk around and I just place tape, a big long strip of masking tape on the kid's desk, and it works just as fine as the white tape or the painter's blue tape, whatever one you feel like using. Okay, once you have your mat, your little heel, it's going to pop up so they can see that it's a different level, and then push it down to actually see that it's supposed to be flat. To add the depression, you're going to take 2 strips of paper, flip your map upside down, okay, and I know it's going to want to pop up, so if you want to lay something on it, you can, or you can have your partner hold it down. And cut 4 pieces of small tape. Yeah, turn it over. Push it down. And then your depression, you're going to turn over. Make sure it's going the way that it needs to. And then sort of add, you're going to fold the paper where it has little, I call them little lips so they can hang on. And you're going to add it, you're going to add it, I have to pick it up so I can show you. Add it here. You can either add it to the sides, however you want. Take one of the strips of tape, tape it down on that side. I know I should have had better directions, but
No, I'm liking the tape.
And then take the second piece and you can add it to the side, the bottom side also, and tape it down. Okay, got them taped down. Ow. And then you'll just sort of add them to the map that you already have, the little heel that you already have constructed. Oops. So that they understand that a depression, when you get it finished, is actually goes below the level that it was. Okay.
I'm almost there.
Okay, so how would you put this in your journal?
Okay. In the journal, you will have to sort of fold the depression off to the side, and then I would actually take my journal pages, and I would take one and I will fold it back into a triangle, and then they glue this part down, and then here they would glue here to here, so it's glued down kind of, and then they take this and they slide it in and out. When I ask them to pull out their heel, their topographic heel, they can pull it out, and I actually use it as a spiral review. That's why I didn't actually label anything on it, because I want to be able to ask different questions throughout the year about it. So I can change the elevations, whereas on here it's 200 meters, I can change it every 50, every 20. I can do 5 meters, and I can ask them just different questions about the hill over and over, you know, throughout. I can miss it for a week, okay, bring it back out, and we're gonna do it again. During star time, I pulled it out probably twice a week because this is where we struggled the most, okay? So after we have it done, we go back to both, and then we sort of have our 3D image compared to our 2D image, because that's what they don't understand was, okay, what does this look like visually? So we're looking at it visually. They can actually turn it the same way if they need to. A lot of my kids would set it on top of their science journal so they could see their depression was below. We talked about contour lines, the contour interval, and I would say, okay, on this paper, what's the contour interval? And they knew that from 80 to 40, or 800 to 400, and there's a line in between, so what's the difference? And they would tell me 400, and I'd say, okay, so there's an extra line, and they knew to go 200. And it was just a lot of practice on that, and their skip counting and their math helped a lot. And we talk about, okay, now that you visually see it, what's your highest point? And they would tell me here. And then they could say, okay, what's your lowest elevation? And they could say, okay, now they saw that the depression was, instead of telling me that this first level, the 400 meter was, they knew, okay, the depression was, because they actually visually saw the depression went below the 400 meters. We would talk about the river. Where did the river originate from? Was it from the 400 or was it from the 8,000? The 1,200 meter, and they would tell me it starts here, and that because the V pointed to where it originated point, they knew the river flowed this way. So I would relate it back to this by saying, okay, if we said north, east, south, and west, which way does the river flow? And they would tell me to the north. So, and then we would talk about, as a whole group or small group, you can work your way through the questions, and they would label it on here instead of here so that we could use this again. And I would just sort of mix up the questions over and over throughout the year. And if I needed to, we could build a different model to sort of see a valley or, you know, whatever we want, a coastal line, so that they understood that the coast starts at 0 and then works its way up through elevation. Okay, so that's what I have about topographic maps. Okay.
I like this.